Alright, so our first video, we used our bore scope, checked out the inside of the receiver area and that, and cleaned it up. And I kind of got the hang of transferring the videos from the bore scope into the video itself. So the next step, and I'm not going to kind of bore you with showing you me swabbing or cleaning the bore out. So what I did is I decided I have this M27. This product is still available. I bought it years ago. It's supposedly a carbon cutter. It cuts carbon. So I bought a packet of bronze brushes, sprayed this down the bore, let it set for about 10-15 minutes, sprayed some more, and then I went and swabbed it out. Or ran the brush through 50 times, okay? Up and down 50 times. So I did that. I went and ran a patch through, got it wet a little more, ran another patch, and I mean, the carbon did come out, black stuff. But all it kind of did was expose the built up copper front of the chamber, and also it really, the carbon buildup in there is pretty heavy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and I'm going to run bore scope to show you the current condition. I'm going to start from the chamber where the buildup of copper is, pull it back, and that way you'll see what it looks like now. And then we're going to go on to what I'm going to do. Some of it I may not do today, kind of short of time, but I'll explain some of the different things I'm going to do. All right. Alright, after making that video and observing the condition, some of the carbon did come out. You can actually see bright spots of the bore itself. So it did loosen some things. So my plan is maybe I'll throw a little bit of this in there, but like everybody said, just like cleaning a black powder gun, a bit of boiling water and some dish detergent, soapy water, so you don't get flash rust. And I think what I'll do is maybe throw this in, give it a couple strokes, and then flush the bore out with hot water and dry it off and everything and clean it again. See, the hot water will break it up and maybe loosen some of that, but as you've seen, there's a heavy copper buildup in there. And I really don't know, I have some sort of a copper solvent, but I don't know about getting that out itself. That may be because of some pretty serious pitting that copper is shaving off in there. I'm not quite sure. But that's the game plan. And I guess tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll show you some more. We'll give it a flush with hot water. Then once I'm done with a few things, we'll run that scope down again and see if there's a difference. All right. There was a little change of plans in my procedure with cleaning the bore. After I ran the scope there, I realized how much this fluid here, M27, how much carbon it kind of released. There's actually shiny spots there. So what I did is I took the barreled action, put a earplug in the end of the barrel, and filled the whole barrel with this and let it set overnight. And I don't know, I still may run the hot water, the boiling soapy water through there, I'm not quite sure. But what we're going to do is I have a fresh brush, I have a proper jag and the proper size patches. We're going to come over, I'm going to pull the plug out and drain the fluid out into this cup, which is white. We should be able to see if there's any type of nasty stuff in there. And then I'm going to run a fresh brush through, patch it out, and see what I ended up with. So I'm going to go get the barrel and we'll unplug it. This earplug did somewhat hold that stuff in there. Alright. Somewhat of a mess, but out it came. And it does look somewhat darker. It's clear. This here is actually has some residue, but it looks like little bits of stuff floating in there. Alright, so let me run the brush through and see what we got. Alright, so I ran about 20 strokes with the brush because this has been soaking all night. Now we're going to take our jag and run some patches down. And oh yeah, that's a lot of carbon. So I'm going to run a few more down and we'll see what we got. Alright, first one, second one, somewhat dirtier. And the third one, you know, if we kept driving these through, probably taking out the carbon. If it really did anything, and you know, these brushes, you buy a pack of them, like a dozen, because after the 50 strokes, that's why I put a fresh one in, it had resistance. About 50, 60 strokes and these are worn to where they're not getting that same amount of resistance. But as for what it did, may have thinned it a little. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a quick check with the scope just to say, or maybe what I should do is go and boil some water and get that soapy water. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This is here. And give it a flush with real hot water. That would probably help. That would loosen up some stuff. And then hose it down with WD-40. So we're going to put some hot water down into this can. Put some soap in there to prevent flash rusting. Protective glove. After a series of mishaps, problems, and everything else, I use a smaller jag. I am getting some suction and flushing out this barrel with hot water. What it'll actually do, I don't know. But gave it a shot. Alright, we'll rinse it with some WD-40 and a couple strokes with the brass brush, and we'll see what we ended up with the bore scope. Alright, so soaking the barrel in M27 overnight, trying to do the hot water flush, which turned into kind of a disaster. I had to use a smaller jag to pump the water through, and it actually kind of flushed the barrel, but all it did is I got water all over the garage floor, and it really wasn't quite boiling. The smaller bores, it's kind of hard to flush them out with hot soapy water, but we did somewhat. So now we're going to look with the bore scope. Now put that video in next here. I did a quick glance. Some of the carbon is kind of gone. Some of the brass fowling right in front of the chamber is gone, but there's still a significant buildup of it in there. How to get rid of that, I don't know. But let's go on to the video of the bore scope, and then we'll close this out. Alright, so the question is anything getting better and will any of this work? Well, from that last video you can see some of that copper buildup has kind of been removed. Okay, and as we go down the barrel, the carbon buildup and crud just in there, apparently more of that has been removed. It's not as bad as it is. When you look down the bore with the naked eye, it looks better than it was. It's lighter. It's gray, but it's not dark. Alright? But if you followed the video and watched to the end where we got to the muzzle, or the crown area, you could see where some of that is exposed and it's worn unevenly, and this impairs accuracy, and this is where this barrel should have been counterbored. Okay, I've never done it. I know someone that has, so counterboring it may be something I look into, but you know, already there's a bunch of time spent, money on new equipment to check this out. But the only other thing I can do really, other than sitting here and going through a whole packet of a dozen brushes, because like I said, after 100 strokes, them brushes, you know, they get worn or something, or flex, to where you can feel the resistance isn't that tough. They're not removing anything anymore. At least, you know, not stuff like this. The only thing I can do, I believe, the next step would be some lapping compound, which I have, bore lapping compound, and getting really aggressive, putting it on a bronze brush and swirling that down, and then seeing if I can remove some of the material on a more aggressive level, at least that copper buildup down by the chamber, because I believe that's what's really screwing it up. And then the muzzle, the crown, and the muzzle area, that's in bad shape. Okay, that needs to be touched up to get our accuracy back. So yeah, that's about, you know, the best I can do. Would probably be the next step. And the heat wave's coming back. It's going to be up to 100 again. So when I get around to it, I don't know. So that's it for now, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.